some speakers, because they are not coming here for this season. We will start with Cristina. Cristina from Spain. She's a PhD student. Now, postdoc. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, we can start.
I would like to thank the organization to my contribution to the SOMA. For me, the opportunity to come back to Rome as a central place in my academic training as an anthropologist. Before the beginning of the Second Punic War, Rome had established commercial routes with relevant ports. It got improved not only by archaeological remains but also by epigraphy and literary source. When war between the two main powers arrived to Rome, Rome took advantage of its victory for a quick conquest and an afterwards settlement in this Levante. This particular situation created new circumstances for the long-established traders who operate those ports, especially the ones that articulate the Roman conquest, Tarraco and Cartagonova. The two cities fight over the capital status in the historiography. In 197 BCE, Rome created two provinciae in the Iberian Peninsula, the Ulterior in the south and the Quiterior in the Levante. Some researchers think that of Cartagonova as the capital of the Quiterior. Others believe it was Tarraco, the military port. But there is another hypothesis. The system determines a part-time status as capital because this condition depends on the governor residence, which change according to the period of the year. The Roman administration settled a system based on different skies of civitate peregrinorum, liberae, priests, with poetera, a treaty, or stipendiarii, so paying taxes. All of them were problematic for the settlement of the Italic immigrants. These traders were Romans or Latins from a juridical point of view. They did not have the possibility of marrying outside their community. Their children could not be Roman or Latins. These immigrants would have problems with some business with the local inhabitants of the civitates. The local laws would be used to solve the problems. To avoid that, they need some specific jura. For that, the Roman administration during the Republic used two categories, the Roman colony and the Latin colony. The first one was like a little Rome with the juridical conditions. The Latin colony had only some of the jura of the Roman system, but enough to allow the Italic immigrants to settle down, have family, and make the gens tree. We know for sure the system of these types of colonies in Hispania. The Roman dates back to the Julius Caesar era. By contrast, Livy narrates the foundation of Carteia as a Latin colony in 171 BCE, and we can establish this juridical status for other civitates like Italica, Córdoba, Valentia, Palma, Pollentia. The Latin colonies in Italy before 89 BCE had four jura: Commercium, Connubium, Ius Migrandi, and Ius Suffragii. But only the first two will be granted to Hispanian colonies through with an officer. The connubius acts mixes married as used to, according to law. It's the only way to have legitimate children in the Roman law. Children that could inherit from their parents thanks to the ius commerci, the ability to participate in a ius civile act as a Roman citizen, as well as assume the citizenship of their father. Therefore, our Italic immigrants who have a normal life bringing their jura to the new territory and taking advantage of their privilege regarding the local inhabitants. Nevertheless, all these topics are controversial, and the only hypothesis that seems clear is that there were as many Latinities as Latin colonies exist, because we are not sure about the jura and privilege that each of them had. In this context, the analysis of the onomastic practice is a key factor. Foldi proved in the 60s the flexibility of the onomastic structure in the communities granted with use Latin. Latins could use Roman or Peregrine stratus. It's not trivial that they were allowed to use the Roman trianomina, a juridical element, which could be used only if granted by the law. Otherwise, you could be sentenced to death. So, the main problem is determining to the Roman or Latin status beneath their trianomina. We could disclose a Roman citizen only if we have a tribus, a mention of a magistrature, or if we are sure that he belongs to a Roman colony or municipium, and that's complicated due to the limited nature of the bureaucracy. To analyze the status of the Italic immigrants and traders in these new ports of the Roman Hispania, I work with the onomastic practice of some Punic ex-Punic port promoted to Latin colonies, Carteia and Cartagena. In 171 BCE, the Senate agreed to the request of an embassy and granted the foundation of a Latin colony in Carteia, a Punic port that ran part of the Circle of the Straits. The inhabitants had to be a group of children of mixed-sex union with a connubium between Roman soldiers and Hispanic women, and therefore illegitimate children. Also, the Punics of the former Carteia could have joined the new settlers. If we take a look at the onomastic of these Latin colonies, documented in the epigraphy, a few stones and a constant number of coins, we could see dual trianomina as dictated by the Roman law. The sample is very small to investigate the Gente's transmission over the years, only 36 records between the 120 BCE until the 1st century CE, but 28 of these Carteians were local magistrates minting coin. Therefore, the names in the inscription were their official duonomina, because it's highly likely that an illegal name were to be used in a legal document. Some of these names are understood as Semitics, others as Italics. Therefore, immigrants or descendants of them, which as a result of the Europe, the Latin colony, could use the same privilege granted to them in Italy or inherited from their Italic parents. The conquest of Cartagonova by Cornelius Scipio in the summer of 209 BCE took place in the context of the Second Punic War. This was a dramatic moment of change for the Punic capital of the Iberian Peninsula. Carhadas was founded or organized by Hasdrubal 20 years before in the same place where Mastia, an Italian oppidum, was located. Ancient Carthagena's bay was structurally complex. On one side, it was composed of a series of natural docks surrounded by steps, providing protection against wind. On the other side, a half-sunken rock held up the traffic to and from its harbors, protecting them against enemies. Mountains surrounding the city contained big quantities of silver and lead, which were intensively explored by Punics as much as by Romans. Its exceptional position in the routes which link Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean, as well as between Iberian Peninsula and Northern Africa, helped the city become an extremely important sea harbor. Literary sources tell us about its unique geographical position and its flourishing economy, but don't mention its political situation or the status of their inhabitants. The city reached an importance which hardly seems compatible with a possible condition of civitas stipendiaria until the imperial time, when Plinius mentioned it as a Roman colony. The earliest dating for this legal promotion has been given by Abascal Parazon, placing it on 54 BCE, identifying Pompey as ultimately responsible. My doctoral works helps me to prove that Cartagonova must have been a Latin colony since maybe the 2nd century BCE. You can see in the slide the inhabitants of Cartagonova registered in the Latin epigraphy of the city, including coins, and the ingots of Carthaginian lead discovered all over the western Mediterranean. Each square represents a peso, and each line a time span. The colors show the type of inscription. As you can see, the first records have a clear tie with economic activities. In green, we have the ingots. In fuchsia, purple, the honorary epigraphy commemorating the construction of a port section. All the people behind these squares have a Roman onomastic structure, all of them, praenomina, nomina, filiatio, libertinitas or servitus, sometimes cognomen. If we have found these names at Carteia, we will have considered them Latins automatically, except the one with the tributes, of course. But the Latin status has never been applied to Carthaginians before. The main difference in the Cartagonovas data is the possibility of establishing some clues of the nomina transmission. I choose two gentes as a sample. From the first one, we have records of the Latin colony and the early Roman colony eras. The first record of the Pontilieni is in an honorary stone that nowadays is lost. There was a collegium magister with the status of a slave of two Pontilieni. The praenomina of this master were Caius et Marcus, the same that we found in the two types of lead ingots dated in the same period. One of them is a Roman citizen of the Fabia tribus. Probably they were a family of Italic traders with liberties settled down in the city where they died, as we can observe in the funerary carmina and Publius. The gens disappeared from epigraphy with the change of the century. Maybe they were only associated with the mines, and when those stopped their production, the family went elsewhere, or simply cannot afford an inscription anymore. Or maybe it's only the random conservation of the reserves. The second example are the Ateli, registered from the Latin colony era to the early period. After a first stage based on ingots and they considered it to be the first coinage of Cartagonova, 57 BCE, they offer one of the very first examples of funeral epigraphy, a Crete woman. Afterwards, the ingenui become part of the local elite. They are recorded as managers, while their treatment are reflected in tombstones. To conclude, only when Italic immigrants and traders had set up in promoted communities, we can track down their history and the jura trade brought with them. When a single immigrant settled down in a local community with a local set of laws, we are unable to register if this was temporary or if he had children and they carry on the business. Yet, if they located in a Latin community, we can observe the transmission of the nomina through generations. Of course, we have a consistent sample of onomastic data over the years, as is the case of Cartagonova. And I can talk about Cartagonova's Latin colony precisely for the reason there must be connubium and commercium in order to allow the sons and daughters of the immigrants to inherit this false nomina. But not only that, in Cartagonova we can also notice the same onomastic structure registered in Carteia, another port in which Latin citizens lived. Thank you very much for your attention, and please visit Fasti Congresso calendar and website with Antiquity Congress worldwide.